And so, great. Okay, everyone. Well, look, a really, really warm welcome to everyone. This evening, we're going to be focusing on the incredible Tower Garden that we're so excited about. And just to let you know, we've got a very special guest with us from California, Todd Mehl. And we've got Levi in a moment, Levi Burdick, who's going to introduce Todd. So that's absolutely great. The program is going to run from 8:30 till 9, and Todd is going to have the floor. He's got a presentation he's going to bring to us. And then we're going to be having a Q&A at 9, from 9 till 9:15. So by all means, put your questions on the chat. That'd be quite good as we went through, because then we can go back and revisit those during the call. And then, you know, in a sense, we'll have a kind of a bit more of an open mic at the end, depending on how many people are on. So without further ado, I'm going to hand over now to Levi, who's driving in Atlanta. And Levi, if you've got your mic open, if you can possibly introduce our...
His son on, he's got to speak. I've heard him speak before. Levi Burdick.
That's me, Levi Burdick. All right, James, thank you for that. I can tell you, you guys are in for a real treat. In addition to this call being hosted by the legendary James Sanderson, you guys are about to be treated by the #1 distributor of Tower Gardens in the United States. There is none better than Todd Mehl. Him and his wife and his son, they operate like a family business. And Todd has built basically his entire national marketing director distributorship using the Tower Garden business model. And other than the inventor of the Tower Gardens, Mr. Tim Blank, I would say, matter of fact, I would say Todd Mehl has maybe even sold more Tower Gardens than Tim Blank himself. Nobody knows more about the perks of the Tower Garden, the uses, the different climates, the different agricultural crops you can grow in the Tower Garden. It's all the best way to market them, the best way to assemble them for somebody and demo them, the best places to go to sell them. Todd Mehl he has faced every problem with the Tower Gardens, and he has overcome those. He's even developed some of his own methods for overcoming issues with the Tower Garden. It is an absolutely fantastic product, and you guys are in for a real treat here, because Todd Mehl knows more about it than anybody. This guy is like my own personal Indiana Jones, cruising the country on his BMW road bike and really just living the dream that he has achieved through his success with the Tower Garden. So put your hands together for Mr. Todd Mehl from the Santa Barbara area of California, USA.
Wonderful, Levi. Thank you for that incredible introduction. And over to you, Todd, in California.
Thank you, James. I appreciate it. I'm actually in Oregon at the moment at my brother's house in Bend, Oregon. There's a 4 towers right behind me. And yeah, what an incredible journey, you know, this Juice Plus company has been for me. I'll just kind of start. I found Juice Plus when I was turning 40 years old. I'm now 53, so 13 years ago. And I was, you know, kind of the knucklehead athlete who really didn't have a clue about fruit and veg, and really was looking for something. I thought I needed to take a multivitamin. I obviously was doing my own homework and went to a bunch of different places and learned that I really just needed to start eating more vegetables. Didn't even think about fruit at the time. And this incredible gentleman was in my indoor rowing class of all things and had these acorns on the end of his keychain, you know, the old conversation starter. And I said, Tom, geez, you're 60 years old. You look amazing. And you're keeping up with me in class. And I'm the instructor. And what are those things dangling off your keychain? And he goes, oh, it's just fruits and vegetables in a capsule and concentrated food. It's called Juice Plus. And I literally threw my credit card, went over to my backpack. It was the end of class. I threw my credit card at him and said, get me some of that stuff. And he said, all right, I'll have it for you. He ran home, got me 1 bottle of each to get started. He was so excited and put my order in. And I said, I might as well become a distributor, because I'm the kind of guy that is going to tell everybody when something is good. And that kind of started my health journey, if you will, and also inspiring, you know, healthy living. And really, you know, helping people not only, take control of their health, but also take control of their food supply with Tower, which is coming up, a few years later. And more importantly, people have that, financial stability piece or side income piece, or just having something that they're passionate about that allows them to take control of their life a little bit more. I think our business model is brilliant for that. So fast forward, obviously I ran through the marketing plan as a Juice Plus rep, and we were cruising along. I think I was a QNMD at the time in short order. And I had my fiance at the time had bought me a raised garden kit from Costco, and it sat in the garage, and I looked at it because I had never grown a thing in my life, just like I didn't eat any fruits and vegetables hardly at all in my life. And I kept looking at it. And Carol and Vic Renoa called me one day. They're my mama and papa in this business, as well as the Burdicks, and said, hey, we're doing this new thing, and we want people that have no clue how to grow anything to try these things. And I said, well, that's perfect timing. I have this raised bed I haven't touched. So they sent me a picture of the Tower Garden. I said, I'm in. I got 2 of them. I followed the directions. Gentlemen, listen to me. I followed the directions. Most guys don't do that. I followed the directions, and I just thought, wow, this is the easiest garden on earth. And I couldn't believe that I could grow. And I really, at that point, just wanted to grow kale for my smoothies. I was using so much of it every day. And so, we followed the directions, we got started, and I really fell in love. I love Juice Plus, and I love how it's just the easy button. But as a guy in particular, I think we like to kind of grow it, show it, and share it with people. And the Tower Garden just fit so well for me that I just really embraced it. And we were in this amazing area called Santa Barbara, and perfect growing weather. And I just started doing more and bought my own 15 Tower Garden farm from Tim Blank, and had all kinds of different restaurants. And we started the first, large outdoor farm in California of 120 towers servicing restaurants. And something really clicked and happened when we did all of that. And I tell everyone that I'm no different than anyone here on this call. I've just been doing more of it for longer period of time. That's it. The Tower Garden is so simple, and you just learn by doing it. You learn by making all the mistakes and all the bugs that come and all the, GFIs that pop and all the different little problems that can come up. But I have to tell you, the one thing that helped me build my business really substantially was the relationship piece that came out of this. And I think, women are typically really, really, really good at that with Juice Plus. They dig in, they have great conversations, talking about kids and families and health. And guys, that's not our favorite topic typically. And so the Tower Garden really allowed me to dig in with my Tower Garden family, if you will, and help people solve problems. And a whole, kind of business spurt off of it. We ended up, at that time, things moved really quickly, but we started doing commercial farms because the company thought, and we all thought, that having these hubs around the country where you could go and get education, buy seedlings, parts, if you will, for towers, and creating these community hubs where you could host these incredible events, it just really worked. And then, people like me were like, wow, this is so easy. And it just spread like wildfire. The ability to, take control of your own food supply was pretty remarkable. And so we've done, our team grew incredibly fast. And it was the Tower Garden that took me over the top to NMD dramatically. It was incredible. Had a really great Juice Plus team and still do. But Tower Garden we just exploded. And we use a really simple method in building our team. And it was, if someone wanted to sign up to the team, we said, okay, it's real simple. You get going, you buy one or more, or 3, most people buy 3 actually. So buy 3 and then sell 3, or buy 1, sell 1. And that was a real simple premise we used. in getting people involved and getting people to sign up, and it just, the community just kept growing and growing, and Facebook groups and chats and live Facebook events and Zoom calls and hosting these educational workshops around Tower Garden 101 training, right? Like there's just some basic, and James, I could maybe, reschedule with you guys at a later date and maybe do one of those workshops for you and do like a Tower Garden 101 workshop, which I think would be fun to do. And what a great community this is, right? Like I was just asked to do this. I have no benefit in UK. I do have some team in Europe through one of my team members, but we don't really I don't do much over there. So I'm excited about this opportunity to help you all, grow your additional part of your business. I mean, you're all you're all Juice Plus distributors, and now I believe you're going to be able to add the Tower Garden to that. And that's a really great picture, William, by the way, in your background. It's gorgeous. Where is that?
That's my farm, buddy.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's in the UK. It's about 45 minutes south of London. So I've
Fantastic.
had that in I've had that into my restaurant for about 2.5 years now.
Okay, and, I've heard of you then. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's going really well. It's a really good vibe.
So, Todd, how would you like to do? How would you? Are you going to do a short little presentation, or you just want to do more of a chat thing?
I didn't, because I'm traveling. I don't really have all my stuff, James.
Yeah.
And I tried to put something together last minute, and it just didn't really work out because I'm looking after my nephews a bit. So I don't have a full presentation. I just wanted to get on, share my story, share my Tower Garden story, talk about what a great relationship builder it is. I can definitely talk about some more of the commercial stuff that we've been doing, schools, to give people ideas about who to talk to. And then I really think the most important piece of this will be the question and answer period. I think that's where people will get the most benefit. So hopefully not disappointing you with that.
No. Look, it's absolutely fantastic. I think it'd be really good if we did an open mic scenario and we just went into Q&A now.
Sure.
I think that would be really, really good, because that would lead into some very interesting conversations. I think the first question, Todd, I would like to ask is, can you sort of give us a bit of a broad picture of all of the different kind of sectors that you focus on to build the Tower Garden business? I mean, you mentioned schools, but can you take us through and give us a bit of a picture of all of the different sectors that people could approach?
Absolutely, yeah. So, and really, it's kind of we just did an all-out massive action scenario, James. We did local trade show type stuff, which was like Fiesta this weekend is happening in Santa Barbara, and we got a booth and we hauled our Tower Gardens down there, right? I remember Tim Blank and almost everybody in Juice Plus, including my fiance at the time, thought I was absolutely crazy. I bought a Sprinter van, Mercedes Sprinter van, because I could put 3 or 4 towers in there. I could put seedlings in there. I could put all my stuff in there. And I was the traveling Tower Garden man, going to all these different Juice Plus events with towers, but also creating our own events everywhere, from school fairs, the local Fiesta, like this weekend is a massive thing. 50,000 people come and all kinds of people run through there, and you get, all these lists of people who are interested, and it's just like our business is kind of a contact sport, right? The more people you come in front of with what you're trying to do, and the people it resonates with come forward. And it's just, everybody stops to see a Tower Garden and go, what is that? When they see that beautiful picture like William has on the back of his screen, it's a showstopper. And whether it's 1 tower or 30 towers, it's always the same. And it's always the same conversation. And the challenge is how do you handle that conversation, James? And what we found early on was that most of our team was messing that up. And I can definitely share this tidbit, which will help you to further those conversations. So if you just give everyone the answers they're looking for, they're gone, right? They don't need you any further. So when people see it, they go, wow, what is it? Okay, how much is it? And it really doesn't matter how much it is, quite frankly, because until you build the value of what it can do, right? And so we would say, oh, it's, you know, it's a vertical aeroponic growing system. It's the Tower Garden by Juice Plus. And they say, well, how much is it? And I go, well, you know, that really depends on your family's budget for your groceries and what you guys use. Are you juicer? Are you eat a lot of salads? You know, what do you need for your family? Because that determines largely what you need as far as how many towers, you know. And so typically people need between 1 to 3 towers because they're doing lettuces, all the herbs, and then if they're doing any kind of juicing or shake program, then you need, you know, kales and different things, spinach, kale, parsley, cilantro, you know, those types of things really go well in all the smoothies. And we have this incredible couple of smoothie recipes, you know, from utilizing the Tower Garden. And you know, I've taken my blender to events and rolled Tower Gardens there and made shakes right in front of people. And so finding out more about the person you're in front of instead of answering their questions is kind of the key. So back to like how we built it. So then when we did Montecito Urban Farms, which was the 120 Tower Garden outdoor farm in Summerland, that's where we screwed that conversation up, and we just gave little rack card brochures out, and we almost sold no Tower Gardens, almost none, for like 2 months. And I'm like, what is going on? And so when we ran out of cards and we started talking to people, that was the difference maker, and started having those conversations instead of being afraid to talk to people about it. And, you know, rightly so, everyone was excited about it, as were we. But having those conversations is what moves people towards getting one. And one of the greatest things we did at that farm was we met Wendy Coleman. And Wendy Coleman is one of the owners and principal at LA Urban Farms. That is the largest piece of my team. And she's doing remarkable things all around the world with Tower Garden. And we have Atlantic Beach Urban Farms, and we have Atlanta Urban Farms. And we have well over 300 Tower Garden farms that we've sold through our business, through our team. And you know, it's gotten to the point where I can't even keep up with it, and I don't even know what's going on in my team. It's grown so big, James. It's really nuts. Like I hear about them on the ACR calls, which are approved commercial rep calls. What's going on, because really there's just not enough time to even keep track of it all. So what happens when you have a proper Tower Garden farm is most farms, like Williams Farm, I'm sure he grows produce for, it sounds like, his restaurant. If it's in a public place, you will then, if you're smart enough and have the right conversations and you want to do this or have the time to do it, you then have conversations about selling Tower Gardens to individuals, which then leads to selling seedlings to individuals and supplies and educational workshops. And then people want to join the mission at the same time. And so it's really a great tool. It's not the only tool, but it is a great tool to build a team. And, you know, we've done everything from taking 1 or 2 towers all over. We would load up in the Sprinter van and go talk to chefs all over the place. And we have some really great restaurants in LA, Los Angeles, that is, and Santa Barbara that have Tower Garden farms on their premise. And, you know, those restaurateurs have a hard time embracing our business because they're so busy running their restaurant. I mean, it's people that are in the restaurant business, it's like a dog year. 1 year is like 7 years. Not kidding. It's that hectic. But if you have a great owner that will allow you to utilize that farm, to do events, to bring people to their facility and build a community around that restaurant, and that restaurant taking control of their food supply, you know, there's a whole nother mission there, right? And so I think that's the key is the relationship side of it, and you know, just all out massive action. But schools are a big piece of our business. We did a program called geez, I'm drawing a blank now. It'll come to me. Youth Effort Farms, YEF. And we had an individual who wanted to give back to his local schools here in Santa Barbara, but he was tired of getting asked for money every year, right? He said, so how do we make a sustainable revenue stream for this school? How can I invest some money and it'll give back to the school every year? And so that's how we came up with Youth Effort Farms. Is a 30 tower garden commercial farm where you operate it on a third basis. So you're harvesting 10 towers every week. And that's how you kind of operate commercial farms, because restaurants need stuff every single week. You can't just go, oh, you can have it this week, but not next. That doesn't work for a restaurateur. So we did parent supported agriculture, PSA, where the commercial towers are 44 tower slots high, 8 feet high, 44 slots. And we grew 4 things: kale, lettuce, romaine, and arugula. And every week, a family got 4 plants of those things for one share. It was $8.22, I think, is what we ended up doing it at. And so the parents were able to give to the school in a way where they got something back. The school was able to develop this really great program, and their 4th grade class was their science class. And that was the class that was in charge of the tower farm. And there was this great pride at the schools, and it's still there 4 years later, where the 4th grade class and the teachers, and the parents are even getting involved. And so, I mean, is that not a dream for us in business to have that going on around a product that we embrace and sell? I would think I'm seeing people shake their heads. Yes. I think it's pretty remarkable. And the conversations that spur from that, and and then obviously Juice Plus and the Children's Health Study and all that stuff, all those conversations happen, and it's magical. It's really the greatest conversation starter that I think we've ever seen. Maybe Vic would say something different about the water filter days or something, but they would just throw a water filter. Let me install this, boom, and they would install it, and then people would use it and love it, right? So similar but better.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Let's open it up to anyone who's got questions. So this is such a prime opportunity. If you've got questions, I've got another question, Todd, I'd like to ask you. If you could talk us through a little bit the buy 1, sell 1, buy 3, sell 3. How do you get people into that mindset of like, I'm going to get one and I'm going to sell one? And how do you get people over maybe the reticence of, I don't think I can do this, or I don't know the right people, or, because I would imagine it's been an important component of the growth of your business.
It has. So obviously, if people are hesitant, you don't sell them one. That's okay. But almost everyone that sees one is so excited about it and so excited to grow their own food that it's a pretty natural conversation, James, around, well, you're going to show this to your other family members and to your neighbors, and you're going to have people over and they're going to see it. So to offset the cost of yours, it might make sense for you to join our business and have a little side, business for yourself, a little plan B income. And, if that conversation goes well, you go down that road. If it doesn't, James, you just don't. You honor the people where they're at. And I've sold many, many, many towers where it was just 1 or 2 or 3 towers. The families had no interest. And guess what? I got all the referrals, lots and lots and lots of referrals. And that's how you end it. You just go, well, if you're not interested in the business now, you may be interested later. But in the meantime, we can do an event at your house. I can bring more towers if you'd like. We can bring our shake machine, the blender. We can create something fun around it if they're interested. If they're not, so well, how I build my business is through referrals, and that's how we sell these things. And we would love it if you would be so kind to do that. And obviously you've made a connection with the person at that point, and that's a pretty easy conversation to have.
Fantastic. Let's open the floor a little bit. Other questions? I mean, Would people like to focus a little bit on schools at the moment? Sarah, would you like to ask, or should we get into schools? You're on mute. Unmute.
Yeah, that would be great, actually. So yeah, my question around the schools is how widespread that scheme is, the YEF that you talked about, and is that the only model that you've got going on?
There's several versions of that model out there. Most of the schools, actually, I would say I think we have about 16 of those going on at various schools that I know of. I believe it's carried throughout, the country on a lot of different other teams. But so we have a lot of University of Colorado Boulder has a tower garden farm with 80 towers. That's one of ours in our team. University of Southern California, USC, UCLA, University of Florida. So there's lots of universities that are producing food for their cafes, for the kids' cafes. And the University of Colorado Boulder has probably one of the coolest farms. They just took this patio, on this upper deck and created this insane greenhouse. And they have some really cool videos and things you can use, which is really nice. And then, it filters down. Private schools have typically more funding, at least in the US. So that's an easier route to go, because if somebody gets excited about it, that the capital, the money is there to do it. And so we have lots and lots of private schools that have them, but we have lots of public schools too. Like San Bernardino Unified School District has 180 towers now, I think. And they're, we have this Stephen Ritz, we have a curriculum, we have all kinds of materials. And I don't know what you guys are privy to or not over there in the UK yet, but we have all of this. It took years and years and years to get it going, but now there's all the tools.
How would we get
out there
to that? Is that on a particular website, or?
It's on you. It should be on your own Tower Garden website, and if you don't have that yet, go to Levi's.
I would imagine that we possibly, with our Tower Garden websites, maybe we have an opportunity to turn it into a US site, and probably in that we will find it all. Yeah,
I think so. Yeah, and so what's happening around schools is they're using it for science, they're using it for art, they're using it as a teaching tool in classrooms, and all of that data is online, and it's a remarkable tool for the teachers. The coolest thing about it is teachers go home for summer, and the pet snake, people take the Tower Garden home for the summer, and they get to share it around, or you just unplug it, clean it, and leave it there for next year.
Yeah,
so it's pretty remarkable.
Todd, who looks after the Tower Gardens in the schools? Because obviously you've got to have someone who's taking responsibility for it, or is that very simple? It's just given to the kids to do, and they just do it.
No, it's not quite that simple. You always need a champion, right? Stephen Ritz talks about find a champion. And William's shaking his head. Yep, you sure do. You need someone who's going to take the responsibility for it. And like in the YEF, Youth Effort Farms, it was the 4th grade class. So it was the teachers, the parents, the teachers' assistants, and the kids who looked after it. Plus, Youth Effort Farms, we had one person that would go and kind of oversee it, right? So it was part of his gift to the school to make sure it launched properly. So that could be a Juice Plus rep, right? If it's your farm that you sold in there or your towers you sold in there. And, you have William there, you guys, as a resource in the UK. And, if he's been doing this for 2.5 years, he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, Todd, just cutting in on this one. I've just put a 3-tower farm into a school just outside of London. And I've taken all of the tower farm classroom literature that you're talking about, and I'm just having it tweaked so that it is appropriate for the UK, because at the moment it's referring to US classes and ages versus the UK one. What I'm also doing, and this would be interesting to give your thoughts on this, I've also then put together a kind of maintenance package because, as you're saying, there's definitely the need to have an individual in the school who's thoroughly vested in doing it, driving it, and whatever. But then schools also seem to have, well, they want to have the knowledge and security that they've gone out and bought these things, and there's always going to be the ability for someone to be there to actually look after them. So I've kind of put this remote maintenance package together that I was going to offer to other Juice Plus reps as well. So if they sell into a classroom, then we will then come in and be looking after the towers, but remotely by having a pH meter in there and all those types of things. Have you seen that happen before? Do you feel that there's a need for that?
That's a very good point. So the things that happen around the Tower Garden, the extra businesses, if you will, you know, selling the seedlings, a maintenance package. We have lots and lots and lots of people, William, that are more high net worth individuals who have a pool man, they have a plant person, they have all these, you know, housekeeper, and now they have a Tower Garden keeper. And we've talked, right. You know, we tried to get pool men on board, but they're, you know, because they understand pH, they understand certain things, but we never really got traction there. But it just turned out that the people are the employees at our farm ended up wanting that extra income, and we didn't take any of it for ourselves. We passed it along to them, but we helped facilitate it and train them properly. And so, yeah, there's a whole Tower Garden service business aspect to this. And Tracy in Atlantic Beach Urban Farms sold a whole bunch of towers into YMCAs here in the US. And they did the same thing, William. They had a whole package put together of maintenance and seedlings and supplies. So because they work on an annual budget, and so they had to budget this out for the whole year. I imagine schools do the same thing for the most part. Yeah. And so then they budget this accordingly, and all of that is included in that budget, and some on-site training and helping set up and things along those lines. So it is, and you know, I mean, it's a wonderful thing. Now, obviously, we did what you're doing with for other reps, but you just got to be mindful on, you know, when other sales happen, and is that your sale or their sale, and you just have to be upfront about that. And you know, but I think that's the only issue that comes up, really.
Gotcha. Thank you. It's interesting.
Can I, Todd, I just wanted to talk a little bit, touch a little bit on the residual income side of the Tower Garden. Mm-hmm. Because, you know, some people say, well, look, you know, Tower Garden is a one-off sale, and, you know, and once it's sold, it's sold. It's not like Juice Plus. But you mentioned to me something very interesting the other day about when we move to the monthly payments. Can you talk us through that, about how you can start building a quite a strong residual income by having, you know, the 12 monthly payments?
Well, it's really great because the Tower Garden, you know, you're right. So in the beginning, there wasn't a payment program. Everyone had to pay for them all at once, right? And then shortly thereafter, we realized, and I think, you know, Jay Martin and the team realized that people that were buying Juice Plus and or the Tower Gardens were, you know, a good risk. And so I think it started out as 4 months, like where you guys are at now, and then it went to 12-month payments, where it made it almost the exact same amount as getting Juice Plus, $52.50 a month or whatever it was. And I have you know, I have my PVC report, and I look at it every month, and I'm blown away by the hundreds of Tower Gardens we have on the payment plan. And the stability in the Tower Garden, even though it's only a year, it's a strong year because people are committed to their Tower Gardens, yeah, and using them, and you know, and so yeah. I mean, you know, you get 100 Tower Gardens, which sounds like a lot, I know, but you get 100 Tower Gardens on the payment plan, and you know, that's a significant PVC, close to NMD. So
yeah. Yeah, I mean, that would be up to, what would we be talking then? 40, 50,000 turnover a month?
I think it's around 30, but yeah.
30,000, yeah.
Yeah, 30,000. So 33 to be NMD, right?
Yeah.
So, and, you know, but the challenge is you need structure and whatnot. So then you got to build a team, and that's actually the most fun part. I mean, it in the beginning, it was really fun selling Tower Gardens and people loving them and ordering more. And, you know, when people buy one and they really love it, sometimes I would say 30% of the time people buy a second one. Well, that's a really great add-on sale, and or like an extension kit.
Could you just say that again? If people buy one and then they buy another one after a period of time?
Yes.
Can
They
you
find that they love it and they want to grow more things. So at first people are, and there's the whole spectrum, right? Some people want 5 at once or 6 at once, and they want to grow everything they possibly can, and they want to not go to the grocery store anymore for produce. And then, but most people start with 1, and then they go to 2, and then if they really love it, they'll go to 3. And if you've ever grown kale and arugula and things like that and lettuces, those things grow really quickly. Anything that flowers, like a cucumber, a tomato, eggplant, so on and so forth. Peppers take even longer. Those take 12 to 16 weeks to grow, right? And so yes, you can have your tower on the bottom of it growing with tomatoes and things, but it's really nice to separate them and to do like a full tower of tomatoes, if you will, and do 1 or 2 or 3 varieties, and let them go and to keep them trimmed properly and all those things. And then you're cycling through all your lettuces and everything here. It's really incredible how it can just churn out. I mean, I only have 2 going at my home right now, and I can't even keep up with it. It's nuts. I mean, my girlfriend and I, it's nuts. So they really work well, and they're a lot of fun. And if there's any families or kids, and kids take such pride in growing like snap peas and the kale that tastes like spinach because it's fresh. And the biggest difference, the biggest difference also in our delivery to restaurants. So there's the Terrace Foundation. Pilgrim Terrace is a low-income Section 9 housing here in Santa Barbara. And when I moved from Santa Barbara up to San Ynez, which is 45 minutes away in the wine country and country, but I still oversee that farm for them and manage it. So I'm there once a week, and I have a great head farmer, but it's so much fun helping people grow their own stuff, but then helping people build a business around it is even just, it's indescribable really how great it is. And so you guys have a great opportunity with this coming. And I know that most of your growing is going to be indoors, and we've been working on many different light scenarios for years and years now. And so I think we really have it pretty well dialed in now to where it really works well. We couldn't sell any really in the beginning for indoor, and now it's really coming full circle.
Can I ask you, have you been quite surprised how some people start slowly on the business side and then really pick up more and more momentum? Do you find that?
Oh, yeah. So like LA Urban Farms, prime example. These ladies are incredible people, and they had no interest in the business. They just wanted to sell tower gardens. So they didn't want to build a team of people at all. They just wanted to be and they just really never, but it took years and years and years. And now they're finally signing people up. And it's pretty cool. And, you got to love people where they're at, right? And what, we share the vision, we share how to do it, and you can't force anyone to do it, because that's definitely no fun. And, you can only carry maybe 1 or 2 people on your back.
Yeah, we've heard that one before. So I think we've only got about 5 more minutes to go on this. So we want to try and keep it within the 45 minutes. Have we got a few more questions? Ariane, have you got anything you would like to ask?
Hi.
Yes, question. What mistakes have you done at the beginning we can learn from, apart from not listening to people's story or asking them questions? Anything else?
Well, because yes, there's lots of things. So following the directions is key. And we all think we know better than the directions. I'll just tell you that. But tower garden is a very, very simple thing. And it's complex. There's a lot going on, but you got to keep your pH level at a certain level, or the plants won't uptake nutrients, right? You got to make sure that you're using half-strength nutrients most of the time, because the directions tell you to. You guys are going to be growing indoors in colder environments. You're going to be using full-strength nutrients most of the time. So understanding that those basic principles, and not, I mean, yeah, it's your thing. You can go and create your own science experiment if you want. But I will tell you, I've many, many times been called back to a farm to help them because they have strayed from those basic principles of, you know, really, really basic stuff. And so the mistakes are, you know, you have to understand your electrical. It uses, you know, less than $1 a month of energy. So it's really, and maybe with the lights, it's a little more, obviously, but the LEDs are really efficient. So it's not too much more. And then ground fault intercepts. I don't know if you guys have those in the UK and in Europe. I imagine you do, but if anything gets wet around electrical, it pops the breaker and your tower garden goes flat. Well, that's not fun to come home to. So be mindful of where you're plugging it in, and if there's any circuits, any other things attached there. You know, Vic, I know, has come home to his flat as a pancake before. So and I have many times, and one time I had my farm, I had 120 towers, and we had 20 towers in these 3 rows in this main part of the farm, and I had my son looking after the farm while I was gone one weekend, and the whole middle row, which was deliveries for this next week, was flat as a pancake, and he didn't see it, that darn teenager. So I ended up putting plugs in that were smart plugs that would tell me if they popped so that I would know, right? So it's just little things like that you learn along the way. Growing good, healthy seedlings is a very important part of this. And learning how to do that is a lot of fun. In fact, seeding is probably my favorite day on the farm. But lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of people are just going to want to buy plants and plop them in. And William, we have built, I sold my farm to Pilgrim Terrace and then kept my seedling business and ended up selling that 2 years later. Just the seedling business for $60,000. We ship them all over the country. And it's a wonderful ancillary part of the tower garden world. And you know, you'll find someone that will resonate with, and they'll want to create a business out of it. And that's that, you know, tower garden superhero for your area.
Yeah.
Right.
That's wonderful. Howard, have you got anything you'd like to ask about what's been going on
in the UK?
No, Howard, would you like to ask?
Oh,
Howard.
Yeah, I was just going to ask about the going back to the schools. You mentioned after the youth effect farms, you mentioned about the parent supported initiative. What just mention about their involvement again? Well, so what it was called and actually how it was executed.
Well, it's a CSA, community supported agriculture, right? Those programs are all over at farms, and that's how a farm actually they sell direct to the end user and make more money, right, by doing that. So CSA programs are much more lucrative than selling wholesale produce from a farm, right? So we just switched it around and called it PSA, parent supported agriculture, meaning they could sign up for 4 plants a week, 8 plants a week, whatever their family needed. And that was their parents supporting the agriculture program at the school.
And so you had a champion within the school who would actually manage that and operate that. And the parents would actually have that facility for a weekly fee or a monthly fee. They would get a certain number of plants each week. Fabulous.
Correct. And the kids actually helped harvest, clean, replant, do the seeding. That 4th grade class was in charge of the tower garden farm every year. So what was neat, the 3rd graders would look forward to 4th grade to doing it. And the 4th graders were, you know, kind of sad to leave it. But there was just so much pride in the school because of that class, that science class that 4th grade class was involved at the grade school level. And, you know, and the parents were pretty proud. And so, you know, the great thing about grade school is there's a pickup. Parents pick you up every day.
Right.
So at pickup time, that's when they would get their produce, right? Their little bag or box. You know, every school is kind of different how they like to do that, but we tried to go sustainable and use reusable stuff, right? So we had this, you know, fabric bag that we used that each family had 2 of them, and there was always one being turned in and one being taken. kind of a thing. So
Wonderful.
There's
Ronnie,
Thanks, Todd.
how about
yeah,
you?
yeah.
Any questions from you, Ronnie?
Yes, thank you, James. Hi, Todd. I would like to ask you, what is your experience of growing the tower garden indoors?
Well, we have several farms indoors, several projects, if you will. So, I mean, and several greenhouses. So, much more outdoors than indoors, but it's the same principle or similar principle. It's just more going on because you don't have the sun. You have, you're trying to recreate the sun with these lights, but everything else is kind of the same. Just some small tweaks. So it's very, very similar. You just got to get used to those bright lights in your house.
Yeah.
But I have lots of people do it in their garage. I don't know if there's a lot of garages in the UK, but a lot of garages in the US, and a lot of people, have them outside in the summer months and roll them inside for the winter because they want to keep growing.
Yeah.
So we have lots and lots and lots of Midwest people, East Coast people doing that. I mean, lots and lots.
Thanks. Vivian, just moving on to you. Any questions? Vivian?
I suppose, what's the easiest plant? I've only just got mine delivered today, funny enough. What's the easiest plants to start with? Get me going, to get used to how it all works.
Well, they sent you some seeds with it, I'm guessing. Those are the best things to do. It's usually kale, arugula. Arugula grows the fastest. And then head lettuces grow fast, but not as fast as the leafy lettuces. So anything like that is kale's a little bit slower, but grows pretty fast as well. I don't know what they're including in the UK tower, but as far as seeds go, but usually Swiss chard.
The US top.
Oh, it is. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's basil and lettuces and I don't know what the seed source is you guys use in the UK, but in the US, we use Johnny's Seeds as our commercial source, but they also sell to individuals, and that's the best seed source in the country here. And William, you probably know where that is in the UK.
Yeah, unfortunately we can't get Johnny's because they really would be the ones we want to have over here. There's just so many different seeds in garden centers and whatever. It's just really trying to choose the right ones that are, if preferable, dwarf varieties, so the smaller varieties to fit within the tower, rather than I've got this tomato plant growing in a commercial building on a high street, and honestly this thing is now at about 7 feet bloody long out of the side of the tower garden that I've strung up in the window. I mean, it looks epic, but it's taken up a massive amount of space. So all the garden centers have a good selection of seeds. It's just trying to go for those dwarf ones.
The key also is fresh seeds. So the fresher the seeds, the better. That's why we love Johnny's, because they're extremely fresh.
I never even knew you could specify fresh seeds. I didn't even know that there was such a thing, but obviously, yeah, sounds very sensible.
And you don't have to worry about GMO seeds. We as individuals could never buy genetic GMO seeds. And I think it's like 9 or 11 crops now that are genetically modified, like cotton and soybeans. And, so you don't have to worry about that. All the seeds, organic or non-organic, are not GMO. So
just spinning around. Alice, any questions?
Hey, this is Victor Noah from San Diego. I'd just like to say hello to Todd and to everybody in the UK. Todd, thank you for doing this, and Mr. Sanderson, thank you, and your group out there in the UK. And if, like I said, Todd is one of the foremost on this tower garden. I'm even reaching out for him, and I'll do anything to go to University of Todd Mehl right now. Here in California, we pay attention to the economy, because here in California, we're at a drought season and they don't have anything. Big areas of land, it's all brown and they're all burning up. So be careful, and the people like yourselves who are in the restaurant business, they can't get enough. The Vietnamese places can't get their own vegetables, so they want to grow their own. They're gonna control it, and they're gonna ask you, what can I do? And right now I'm going into the Tower Garden business. I've been doing this 35 years of my life into Juice Plus. And you know what? It's like yesterday. This is a true beginning. And this one here, it's going to be, and I wish all of you luck. They're going to be coming after you. So keep your ears and your head, and we're here to help wherever you are in the world, because our Juice Plus family is that small, and this little army is out here to make the world healthy. And not so
Amen.
much healthy, but you will make your wealth if you pay attention to the things that, and the people who own those restaurants are solving their problems, and they're telling us what they want. So good luck to all of you, and thank you very much, Todd. Appreciate it.
Pleasure, Vic. Good to see you.
I think that's really perhaps where we should leave it then. I mean, that's a tremendous endorsement from you, Victor. And I think we've been on now for like 55 minutes. I did ask Alice just a very quickly if you had a question, Alice.
No, I don't. Thank you, James. This has just been so informative. I'm genuinely so grateful. Thank you so much for arranging. Thanks, everybody.
I would just like to say on behalf of all of us, Todd, and there will be so many more people watching the recording, but it's obviously been very special for the people being on and being able to ask our questions tonight, which has been so important. But I think we would all, from our hearts, like to thank you so much for taking up your time.
Absolutely.
We appreciate it so much. That you absolutely do not have to do this, but you've just done it out of the goodness of your heart, and we are so grateful.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Our Juice Plus family is very special to me, and this mission is important.
Good man.
So thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
We just would love to meet you and look forward. We will do our absolute best to make Tower Garden Europe a massive success. So I think we will look back on this moment with you as being a very, very important moment for us in our journey.
Absolutely.
I'm looking forward to seeing it. I'm not on Facebook, but I'm on Instagram, Todd D Mehl, and you have to request me to be my friend, and I'm happy to accept any of you all from the UK.
Again, Todd D
Mehl, Mehl.
Okay, we'll
doing it now
on Instagram. Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Cool. Thank you very much, everyone. Thanks so much for joining, and I'll get the recording out. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks so much. Cheers.